Interesting, okay. Okay,
That's what I was gonna say.
okay, so this
I guess
single core,
it's definitely the least redundant.
at least, is it the
I mean, it's not
least?
redundant.
It's not redundant,
At all.
right. I don't know if we could say least redundant, because every,
It's not redundant.
it's not redundant, and there's a bunch of them that aren't redundant.
Right.
But why do we think this one's the weakest?
Maybe not, I guess the angle's small and it's equalized.
Right, if our point was at the apex here, yeah.
Right.
It would be self-equalizing on both strands.
I'd say this one is
Okay, so what is that?
an unfinished figure eight.
Yeah, it's an unfinished figure eight follow through. This is good. So this is the weakest because you think what?
It's unfinished.
Uh-huh.
Well, it has a higher chance of slipping out if it's unfinished, right?
Okay, so that's a myth. So this is, I'm breaking a myth.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, totally, yeah, that's okay. So this has actually been proven to be just as strong as the figure eight follow through. So tradition tells us that we finish this, we've all done this when we climb, as we put that there. Really, that's your backup. And this is why you really don't need that half of a double fisherman's. Some people call it different things, but everyone know what I'm talking about, the backup to the figure eight. You don't really need it, but again, it's a gym liability thing that they have you put that in. So strength-wise, this, if it was like this, now it's just as strong as it was when that's out. Bends, it's a little bit tighter bends than the Bolin, so it's a little weaker than the Bolin. What is the advantage to this one?
Equalized.
Not equalized. This is, well, and equalized is a word we use mostly for joining. When we join two things together, we talk about equalized. I'm gonna get to that. But if I'm attaching to, this is just one tree, I'm not thinking about equalization, but the advantage of this one is that we are very familiar with it, right? Like, I could have a participant do this. That's kind of a cool reward. Hey, you know how to do the figure eight follow through. Can you just tie that around the tree? Some of it's a little tricky because if the tree's big, you have to figure out where that, we're all used to doing it on our harnesses. Like we have a certain length that we have to tie that figure eight. If it's a big tree, you have to figure out where that figure eight is. So a participant might struggle with that a little bit, but if you get that part of it done for them, they get to tie part of their anchor. That's kind of cool. Super easy for even like say here, an assistant instructor doesn't have much anchor experience. They can check it and say, oh yeah, I know what that looks like. Totally good. Strength-wise, it's strong enough. We all use it on our harnesses all the time. I don't think it's a little bit less than the Bolin. It's quite a bit less than so the diaper hitch. The diaper hitch classically is done like this piece of webbing here. There's no knots in it. There's there's 2 strands in the back. Again, no redundancy here, but that one's really strong because there's no sharp bends. This diaper hitch here, all I've done is I added an overhand so that it stays higher up on the tree. And why would I want to do that?
To avoid like rope drag, depending on what's in front of the tree.
Yeah, yes, all right, so if my edge of the cliff is like really sharp, and I can raise this up so my rope comes down at a gentler angle, then it's less likely to cut. I typically use it if I'm setting up a rappel for participants. I oftentimes want the angle of the rope to be high as they go over the cliff edge. If you've ever rappelled off the edge and the rope is right laying on the edge, it feels terrifying. Yeah, so that's the place that I might use this. It definitely decreases the strength, putting bends in it. But think of a rappel. I mean, what's the most force I'm going to get on that anchor in a rappel situation?
Just the way that's what it's
Yes, so if someone maybe goes really fast and stops, a little bit above body weight, hopefully I've created a system where the friction's enough, they're not gonna go super fast.
Flying.
Yeah, so that has to do with the decision. If I have little kids, maybe it's a single rope they're rappelling on. They're light, they're under 100 pounds. If I have a lot of big folks, maybe they're on 2 ropes, so they can't go too fast. But I don't have to worry too much about the force that's being put on this webbing. I do have to think about if this tree is not absolutely bomber, if I raise up where I put that on the tree, then I'm more likely, I'm kind of creating leverage, right? Yeah. So what are people thinking about this? This is called a girth hitch. I lived and breathed the girth hitch 25 years ago. And then we started doing a bunch of research on it. And it breaks way earlier, especially when the girth, so this bend right here can become very sharp. Like if it's on a tree, it kind of sticks there. And this bend becomes very sharp, and that's a spot where it can break. So we've kind of gone away from the girth hitch. If you have to do a girth hitch, you know, ideally you're doing it so the bend, this bend right here is not too sharp. Why would I need to do a girth hitch? What advantage does the girth hitch give me?
Length. if
Yeah,
you're
and
going on
length,
here.
right? Yep, it's simply length. I mean, I'm most likely going to do a diaper hitch. The girth hitch gives me length here, but if I had a big tree and had to girth hitch it around it, it actually could shorten it. So I just have to make a decision, do I have the material to get to where I need to be in order to do the next thing, which is typically joining 2 things together. So before we go into joining, is there any questions about attachment?